and Chris Hemsworth. Let's hear more from them.
BBC Radio 1.
Now, you're both obviously in massive blockbuster films. I mean, Avengers and obviously Twilight for you, Kristen. Did you ever imagine that those films would get such a huge audience that young people today are looking at you going, I'd like to be like them one day? Who were those people for you when you were first thinking about being in the business, whether it was writing or acting, whatever? Who did you look up to and love?
I mean, a whole bunch of Aussies, you know, that I've sort of grown up watching, and Mel Gibson and Russell Crowe, and then, you know, Heath Ledger, similar to my age, but certainly someone that was doing it before I was, and sort of was leading the way. I mean, there's
Harold Bishop,
Al Stewart. By the way, I've worked with both of them, and they're awesome.
Yeah. For you?
This might sound like a completely obvious answer, just because it was like my first experience of what of a great example of a movie star. I worked with Jodie Foster when I was like 10.
Amazing.
And so like I think to be so young and see somebody just be another hand that helps make a whole, rather than being like anything more than that. She does things so for the right reasons, and yeah, she's amazing.
It's important to have those people to look up to, isn't it, I suppose?
Yeah.
Do you want to still be acting in 20 years or so, or do you want to go for writing or directing, or what are you hoping to do?
I'd like to direct one day.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
I'd like to be good enough to write and direct. I don't know if I am, but directing, I think at some stage I'd love to take on.
And I have to ask, obviously, because I will get killed by twihards, and I'm sorry to ask this, but we've got to get something for the twihards.
Don't apologize.
I'm not.
Like,
well, okay.
I mean, look who you're talking to right
now.
now.
I know, but I just,
what are you doing,
yeah,
man?
it's like, because we had Daniel Radcliffe on the show, and because he's incredible, and he loves obviously Harry Potter, and you know when you're asking him that he's been asked the questions a million times.
Yeah, totally.
So, but it's a huge part of your life, isn't it? Twilight.
Yeah.
We've got the final part to come, and it must be. Do you feel a bit sad that it's kind of done, or is that the time it's right?
Yeah, I mean, I feel the same way, kind of about every project. It's, you know, you do start it to finish. Like, the ultimate goal is that you want the story out, and so I actually am really relieved. You know, I've had that weighing on me for 4 years, like wondering how it all is going to come out, and I'm so proud of everyone, and like it's so not something that I want to distance myself from. Everyone thinks that I'm like trying to, you know, and so it's really nice to look back on, and like I lived there for so long that I do feel really satisfied. Unlike, you know, doing a movie for 5 weeks and feeling like, you know, like a little indie movie and feeling like, God, I really wish I could just sort of revel in that a little bit longer. I was able to sort of be there for so long, and it'll, you know, I'll talk about it forever. Everyone will, it'll be a thing forever for me. So I'm pretty lucky.
Hopefully you'll come back one day in maybe 25 years' time and do an old version where you all look really old and haggard.
Yeah,
and stuff.
perfect. Or maybe I'll remake it with like someone else.
Oh yeah, that's it. Yeah,
I'll direct it.
by Kristen Stewart.
That's right.
Yeah. It's Twilight 3000.
Oh my God, nicely done. You're hired. That was awesome.
Chris Hemsworth is playing Bella.
I love that guy's voice. In a world. It's always in a world, isn't it?
In a world
Yeah.
where a man was questionable, but
In a
this
world.
summer, meet Joe. He was your everyday guy until one day,
He rode on a mechanical horse with a foam sword. I just kind of want him to narrate my life a little bit. That'd be perfect. Or just my radio show. Whatever.
That's why we're actors. That, like, we have those voices in our heads anyway.
All the time.
Yeah, all the time.
Yeah. Well, it's been a pleasure to meet you both. Thank you so much. And Snow White and the Huntsman is a delight, so it's worth a watch. And thanks for coming in, and hopefully see you again soon.
Thank you very much.
Thanks so much, man.
BBC Radio 1.
Rick James.
I could write you a song.